Hi Libra, welcome to your weekly forecast for February 17th through the 23rd. We're going to see what's happening in the week ahead with this lovely deck here, and then we're going to pull an affirmation for you guys from this deck here. That full moon in Leo we had, guys, the energy was a little intense, and it was encouraging a lot of people to release fear, to get rid of fear, to just kind of get out there and be seen. So a lot of people right now are feeling it like a crossroads energy where like there's a lot of things changing energetically. For that reason, I want to go ahead and use an oracle deck here. So without further ado, my darlings, let's see what's happening for Libra. Here's your Monday, Tuesday, your Wednesday, Thursday, and your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, we have 7th ray of ritual, order, and ceremony. So what does all that mean? So as always, my dears, I encourage you to take a look at the cards, see what's jumping out at you, the colors, the symbolisms. Take this as an exercise in your own intuition as I'm delivering the general messages. So this is a card that the creator of this deck has coming up with the message about the energy involving connecting spiritually, but beginning to realize a sense of magic around you, a sense of alignment, a sense of realizing that you're able to manifest, but also beginning to do things in terms of ceremony or ritual. Now, ceremony can sound really serious. The word ritual can kind of scare people or freak people out. But this is just going to mean, Libra, you're beginning to become stronger and better at intention setting, okay? When people do things like, lighting a certain colored candle or, burning a certain type of incense or facing a certain direction and, saying something out loud, whether you call it affirmation work or candle work or whatever it might be, all of these things are done to set intention, to bring our energy up, to set our intention of what we want to do, and to get us kind of programmed that we're going to succeed in this thing. So those of you that you are really into that spiritual kind of stuff or metaphysical stuff, and you've been trying to like follow other readers or like, look up things online, you're going to begin coming up with your own little practices, your own little spins on things. Other ones of you where you're not quite that into it, like you might be interested in tarot. I mean, you're watching this video, you may watch other tarot readers or card readers, but you might not be feeling that whole kind of candle thing and incense thing and crystal thing kind of vibe. But you're going to begin setting intentions in other ways. You might kind of begin having a certain thing that you're doing that you feel you're setting your intention, whether it's like, wearing certain colors that make you feel very powerful, or doing certain things in your life that are kind of symbolic to you, that are like a reminder to you that you got this, you're going to do this, like some people have like a lucky shirt or something, like you might be having little intentions like this or little practices like this that are setting your intention, that are putting you in the mindset that you're aligned with what you're wanting to manifest and that you're going to go ahead and you're going to get it. I feel some of you, I just heard mind movies. I heard it 3 times. Mind movies, mind movies, mind movies. I'm not too familiar with the concept. Somebody mentioned it to me in passing a few years ago, and I can't remember who it was that came up with the word mind movies, but I know it's something a lot of athletes will do, where like mentally, visually, they imagine themselves like, running the course and winning the case, winning the race, or like doing the touchdown. Or maybe you're a lawyer and you're imagining yourself winning some case. I don't know why I said winning the case. Or maybe you're going through some legal thing and you're like, trying to visualize the outcome. So some of you might be setting intention or ritual in that way, where you relax, you take a bath or you take a shower or you drink a certain type of tea or something, and you sit down and you just kind of visualize what it is that you're calling in. It doesn't have to be like a whole elaborate ceremony, but you're bringing some element of ceremony, right? I know with certain Asian cultures, they will have tea ceremonies, right? There's something about the ritual of getting together, about preparing for conversation or preparing for reflection. So like just the act of preparing tea and coming together for tea can be considered a ceremony. So And this way you're coming up with some way of setting intentions. Your Wednesday, Thursday card, my darlings, is First Ray of Power. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this also came up for Aries, okay? And I've done several readings between them and you guys. And if I'm not mistaken, this came up for their Wednesday, Thursday as well. Okay, so for that reason, some of you may be dealing with an Aries, or you may have Aries in your chart. Not necessarily, but because it's the same card, especially since it's coming up on the same day, there's someone out there that's dealing with an Aries. And it doesn't have to be romantic, okay? It can be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a boss at work, it could be a business partner. So it doesn't necessarily have to only be in the sense of romantic, but there could be some power struggle back and forth between you and an Aries. But, you know, for them, the card came up that they were taking a sense of leadership, a sense of ownership, you know, being able to direct what they want to do or go in the direction they want to go in. And so the fact that it's coming up for you as well midweek, I would say whatever is happening, there may be, I'm going to use the word division, but I don't mean division in the sense of like cutting somebody off, but division in terms of, okay, well, you'll handle this and I'll handle that. Kind of like the roles of power or the rules or responsibilities or boundaries are being clearly defined. There's a division in that way. Like, okay, well, this is your stuff and I won't interfere with that. And this is my stuff and you won't interfere with that. Because both of you have this sense of power or leadership coming in midweek. So I feel there, you know, for those of you that might be dealing with an Aries, it's like something is becoming clearly defined. For other ones of you, Libra, you're just in this energy of coming into your sense of leadership and coming into your sense of doing the things that you've wanted to do, but you weren't giving yourself permission to do. And this has been an ongoing theme in a lot of your readings. And I think it came up last week too, where there was this whole thing of, you know, doing what you wanted to do versus doing something you were doing out of a sense of obligation, and leaving all that stuff behind. That full moon in Leo that we just had last week, this was all about releasing those fear-based decisions. A lot of the times we make decisions based on fear. You know, we say yes when we really wanted to say no because we're afraid of letting somebody down, or we're afraid that we're going to seem like a jerk, or, you know, whatever it might be. That's a fear-based decision, right? That's just like one example of a fear-based decision. So you're coming out of that and you're taking leadership of your life. You're taking ownership of your life. And I feel for some of you, there's something that's happening where you are getting involved in a culture or in a group that's very outside or very different from your usual. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone. So especially if you're the kind of person where, say, like you grew up in a small town, or you're living in a very small town, or you grew up within a community. Like I'm here in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is a really big place, but there's lots of communities within the communities, right? And they could be divided by all kinds of ways. It could be by terms of, like, you know, what country people immigrated from or what language they speak. It could be religious, it could be political. There's all kinds of little pockets of all kinds of little groups of, you know, people that want to flock together and stay in their own little vibe and stay in their own little world. And so some of you may be in something like that, and you're beginning to step outside of it. You're beginning to expand your horizons and your experiences, or you're doing things that are like outside of your culture, outside of your background, which is giving you a sense of power. It's making me think of, like, some years ago, I ended up just to push myself, because I've been very shy typically as a person. But a few years ago, I was like, you know what? I really want to face my fears. I want to get out there. So I pushed myself to take stand-up comedy. like just as just a class, just to learn. And then I began performing. I had no intention of being a comedian, but I surprised myself, and I surprised a lot of people in my life who kind of knew me as being a very serious or very tough kind of person. They were like, wow, you're really funny. And I'd have strangers come up to me and say, oh my God, you were one of my favorites. But I had no intention of like being a comedian. So it could be something like that. Like you might start going into interests or things like that people might say like, what? Like, I can't imagine you doing that, or that's so different from your upbringing, or that's so different from like our social dynamic. Like, what would make you get into that? So for some of you, it's just kind of stepping out of the comfort zone in that way, but it's something that's giving you courage. It's something that's giving you power. It's something that's giving you confidence. Okay. Your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you have grounding. Now, this is very interesting because Capricorn had this come up for their Monday, Tuesday. So maybe there's a Capricorn in the mix as well. Not necessarily, but there could be. Now, this is another vibe I'm getting for you other Libras, okay? Obviously, the message here is that it's important for you to get connected with grounding, to kind of ground yourself. And that's also going to go with the whole theme here of your first card of ritual. Okay, you might be coming up with a grounding ritual. So some ways people might ground. I know some people may like to do visualizations where they like to visualize that like some white light is coming through and cleansing them. And then they envision that there's some kind of like chain wrapped around their root chakra, and then it's attached to an anchor, and the anchor goes all the way down to the center of the earth. Those kinds of meditations have been very challenging for me. So if you're like me, and if that kind of thing doesn't come natural to you, you may be finding other ways of grounding yourself. Okay, I love working with water. That's like one example of grounding. So maybe you're starting to take, once a week, maybe you're doing like a salt bath, or maybe you're taking baths before bed or a shower before bed. Or maybe you're doing something with like, letting yourself be in barefoot and letting yourself feel the ground beneath you, even if you're inside, even if it's just like the carpet or the tile floor. You're just kind of feeling the sense against your feet, and you're feeling the sense of you being in your body. Also, like sometimes tea ceremonies can be used for grounding, or like sitting down and doing something with a cup of tea. So you're coming up with your own little way of escaping that realm of thought, like being lost in the realm of thought and being present in your body. But another feeling that I'm feeling about this, and I told Capricorn, it really jumped out at me, and I maybe didn't notice it, or I wouldn't have noticed it if it hadn't come up for them. The 15 jumped out at me. So for you guys, one is to believe that this is a new beginning. There's going to be a lot of changes, and to not like kind of lose your way. But 15 jumped out at me for them because it made me think of the fact that the major arcana card in the tarot, number 15, is the devil, which symbolizes Capricorn. That's why it jumped out at me. But if we thought about this as the major arcana card from the tarot, the devil card, then this is going to say, Libra, some of you are really beginning to embrace your physical desires. And maybe you had some guilt around that. Maybe you've been trying to edit yourself, or you've been trying to, be like, well, I want to be more spiritual, or I want to be more hoity-toity, or whatever it is, but you might just be accepting the fact that even though you might be a spiritual being, as we all are, we are spiritual beings here to have a physical experience. So I feel there may be something with this energy at the end of the week that you all are beginning to really want to embrace the physical needs, the physical pleasures of life, and coming out of the fear of not being balanced. Libra, this is exactly what it is. It just hit me right now. Maybe there's been times in your life where you've tried to embrace these desires, and maybe you've felt like you haven't been able to keep balanced with it. And Libra, you guys are all about balance, right? Your symbol is the scales. You guys are all about being balanced. So maybe you're like, well, I can't. Like, I get carried away. Like, I can't. I start having fun, and then I just want to have fun all the time. Or I start doing doing this and I just want to do this all the time. And so maybe there's just been this fear of not being able to keep it in control. But Spirit is saying, if you can practice mindfulness, if you can practice being present here in the moment, in the here and now, if you can practice grounding, then you are going to be able to have control of those impulses. You're going to be able to know when to let loose and when to get serious, and, just kind of be in the balanced mindset. All right, my dears, we're going to go ahead and see what's coming up for you in terms of an affirmation. And as always, my darlings, I encourage you to watch your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some weeks those are going to resonate with you more than others. They may bring a little extra information. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do. If you want to click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, you can schedule a private reading with me there. And I have a few more of the specials left, the discounted 60-minute videos, so you can still get in on that. If not, I do have other affordable options as well if you want to schedule a private reading. So, my darling Libras, your affirmation here is, I release my need to be perfect. Interesting. And I center into my commitment to serve the world more love. All right, well, Libra, you're going to be serving up some love. So anyways, this is just basically helping you realize and understand, like we said, there was this whole thing of accepting yourself, maybe accepting the more physical side of you, or accepting the desires in you, and realizing, like I said, that even though you might be wanting to be a high vibrational person and embracing spirit and spirituality, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all here to have a human experience, and nothing in the human realm is perfect. It simply isn't. You're not supposed to be perfect. So you're embracing this, Libra. You're embracing the fact that nothing is perfect, that you're not perfect, that you don't need to be perfect, and that you can be committed to doing the things that are going to be more loving by speaking your truth. Some of you, oh gosh, I don't like to get into like love and romance, but I feel some of you have been with somebody for a while where you haven't been feeling it, right? But like you want to be loyal, you want to do the right thing, but you might not be feeling that vibe. You might not be feeling the connection. You might not be feeling the attraction, and you haven't had the courage to let this person know that you don't want to be with them. And so that's a fear-based decision. You're making the decision not to be upfront. You're making the decision to stay in the relationship because you feel bad, because you're worried about what other people are going to say, or you're going to say, oh, but we've been together for so long, and how can I just like not be with them? But a loving thing would be to realize that that person deserves to be with someone that wants to be with them. That person deserves to be with someone who's going to love them and love being with them and be attracted to them. So the loving thing to do would be to give that person permission, essentially, to go out there and find a better relationship for them if you're not able to step up and give them what they need, the same way that you want someone to step up and give you what you need, right? You might feel bad, like, I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I do feel for some of you, this whole thing about like being more loving is you're realizing that, sometimes honesty really is the best policy, that it is more loving to be honest and to tell someone the truth of a situation. Okay, I'm getting that vibe in that way for some of you, but this is a nice little affirmation. You may want to watch your moon sign and rising sign and see what affirmation came up for your moon sign or rising sign. Maybe that resonates with you more, or you want to use a few different affirmations this week. Feel free to do that. And my darlings, if you want daily messages, be sure to follow Amethyst Angellight on Facebook and Instagram. Every single morning I post a card of the day with a message, and later on in the day I do a fun little pick a card game. If you want a more like heavier love reading, Click on the love videos in the description. If you want more angel messages, click on the angel channeled messages in the description. And I know a lot of you are going to ask about the nails. You guys always do. You know, I'm really into nails and I love nails. Usually, I don't know what to tell you because my nail tech just does it. I don't know what color it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is that's on my hands, but this is actually something I took in. I took in and had them do it. So I do have it in the description of the video if you want to order some. I got it off Amazon. If you want to order some and put it on yourself at home, or if you want to take it to your nail tech and have them do it for you. I know people are going to ask, so I do have that linked in the description as well. I thank you all so very much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I am wishing you a fabulous week, my dears. Take care.